If you follow college football at all, you've probably heard the following question. Does this team have what it takes to be a champion? Creating winners on and off the field, it's something coaches strive to do every day, and an author from right here in West Alabama thinks he's written a book that can help. Scott Wimberly, the author of Playbook of Champions, is here to tell us more. Scott, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, our pleasure. Well, let's get right to it. This is the book right here, and I'm going to hold it up, and if the guys want to get a shot of it, they can. I'm going to ask you this. Okay. Just by the cover art and the helmet and the football there, and talking about champions, this seems like a sports book, but it's really not. Tell us about that.
Well, it's a book about, again, like you said, how to be a champion on and off the field. But being from South Alabama and West Alabama, you know, everything hinges around football around here, whether it's the University of Alabama or your local high school. And so I put together the book about 2 years ago, How to Be a Champion. But I put it on the skeleton, if you will, the outline of a high school, local, small town, real small town. I grew up in a real small town down in South Alabama. So it's sort of based on that town where I grew up, but follows the team through the whole season, but different things happen, and as they happen, then we bring in these characteristics that it takes: teamwork and perseverance and integrity, things that it takes to be a champion, whether you play football or never seen a football in your life.
There you go. And you've transitioned a character from one of your other books, Aggie's into this one.
Right.
And you also have a character named Coach Grimes. Now, tell us about them.
My mother's maiden name was Grimes.
Ah.
So, you know, giving honor to where honor's due. And so Coach Grimes is for the Grimes side of my family. And there's names from Washington County, where my mom is born and raised, in Clark County, where I'm from, in Jackson. I went to Southern Mississippi, so there's some names from there, even a few from the university here. But there's names people recognize, but the people, they are fictional. They're not real. And just the names, you know, are familiar with people. So.
What inspired you to write this book? Because this is somewhat of a departure from what you usually write, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the very first book I wrote was about destiny and things like that, but it was more of a point 1, point 2, point 3, and that's been several years ago. But I wanted to do something to encourage people and to help not just high school football players, but anybody that wants to be a champion, if you just want to be the best at whatever it is you do. And so I wanted to do it in a way that was a fun read. If you don't care anything about being a champion, you just like football, you'll like the book.
There you go.
You know, so it works both ways.
Super. And you're going to be a busy man this week. You're going to be going around meeting some of the people that helped you put this book together and giving away some copies and signing some copies and selling some copies too, right?
Met with all the coaches here in Tuscaloosa, and like you said, from here on down to Jackson and back up.
All right, super. Well, Scott, thank you very much for being with us again today, and best of luck with the book.
Thank you.
You can find out more about Scott, the books he's written, or order a copy of Playbook of Champions online at scottwimberly.com.